this video I will demonstrate you how to tie my secret float rig when it comes to catching big chub in shallow, fast water. And this is a bad boy. Very simple but very effective rig. It's deadly actually. And I banged literally hundreds of big chub using this exact rig. It's awesome. But before going to that demonstration, I must mention a couple of things. First of all, I came up with this rig last year when I was doing underwater filming, and I noticed that big chub were taking particles confidently, only those which were taken by the flow at a natural pace. If the hookbait or particle was going slower or faster than the flow, big chub were not even looking at those baits or particles. Point number 2, which relates to point number 1. This rig is the most effective when you cast it upstream. As it's super light rig, you can't control it pretty much at all. Therefore, you want to cast it upstream and reel in slowly, making sure that you're not affecting the float and the rig. And float goes under, you strike, big chub on. Point number 3. I did lots and lots of videos when I was catching really insane amounts of big chub, and I was using this exact rig, and I will leave links for those videos in the description below. Check them out. But yeah, I covered everything. Now let's go to that demonstration. Right, before demonstrating you how to tie this rig, I will go in detail what components you will need. So, you will need a tiny Drennan float at 0.6 grams. That's a crystal dibber. Preston Innovation Studs shot in size 8. Tiny swivel in size 20. Bait band. Silicone sleeve with internal diameter of 1 mm. Ready-made hook link, which consists of size 10 Guru extra strong carb hook and 0.20 fluorocarbon hook link. Decent quality fluorocarbon line. I will go in diameters what will be needed for this rig a little bit later. So yeah, let's move everything off the table and we'll start tying this rig. First of all, even though this is a tiny float, for this rig it's too long. It's about 5 centimeters in length, so, and I will cut off most of that stem, leaving probably a half a centimeter or 7 millimeters of that stem. So I just will use a knife and go around gently to make sure that I have a nice clean cut. Hopefully. Not yet. Not the nicest cut of cuts, but it will do for this demonstration. If you want, obviously you can use some file on it or sanding paper after you perform the cut. But yeah, this is the float which you want to use for this rig. Tiny and short, and then it won't tangle and it will just work and won't spook big and wise chub. Okay, now it's very important to use braided line as a main line when using this rig. The diameter of that braided line should be about 0.10 millimeters. Basically, you will be casting this rig mostly using the weight of the bait, because the rig is so light you will not be able to cast, and to cast the bait a decent distance you need to use fine braided line. Okay, now I will put the float onto my main line. Again, I'm using a little bit thicker main line so you would be able to see a little bit better, but as I say, in a real situation 0.10, that's a gold standard in my opinion. Right, now I will grab that silicone sleeve and thread it onto the line as well. Just like that. Now I will fasten the float using that silicone sleeve just like that. That's perfect. So we have our float attached. Now I'll grab that little tiny swivel and will attach it onto the braided line. You can use any knot here. I will use Griner. It's a decently strong knot, even with the braid, so never had a problem with that. Also, this knot is called uni knot. If you don't know the name of a Griner for this knot. Okay, wet the knot all the time when tying your own rig. Now I will chop off the tag end, leaving maybe 1 millimeter or so by the knot, just like that. We have this bit completed. As you can see, it's super tiny, very neat and clean. Okay, let's put it aside a little bit, and I will talk about what we will be attaching to the other end of that tiny swivel. As mentioned, the smaller you can get the swivel, the better. And I will leave links below to the swivels I'm using, and really they are great swivels in my opinion. They are black, tiny, and they just work. So yeah, swivel is needed because we will be using big baits in here which can produce lots of twist on the line. Okay, let's put this little bit aside for now, and I will talk, as I mentioned, about what I will be attaching to the other end of that swivel. So you want to be using fluorocarbon line which is of a decent quality, and the diameter of that fluorocarbon line should be about 0.23 to 5. You can use mono, but still I would advise to use fluorocarbon because fluorocarbon sinks a little bit faster as you won't be using big shots. You want the line would be a little bit heavier itself. So yeah, but for this demonstration, so you would be able to see a little bit better, I will be using thick black mono. Again, in real situation, use fluorocarbon. For this demonstration, I'm using mono. So you would be able to see. Okay, I will grab about 60 to 70 centimeters of that black monofilament line. Again, if the areas you will be fishing at will be a little bit deeper, like in general, then you can use a little bit longer of that line, but 60 centimeters, 60, 70 will do just fine. So now I will attach that monofilament line onto the swivel. Again, I will use Griner knot. Feel free to use any other knot you have confidence in. Again, when tying your own knot or knots in general, don't forget to wet them just before pulling them tight. Okay, I will trim off the tag end again of that monofilament line, leaving maybe 0.5 millimeter or so by the knot. Okay, we have that bit completed. And we are close to completion in general. Now, on the other end of that monofilament line, I will tie a simple loop using a loop tire. Again, when tying your own knot, don't forget to wet it just before pulling it tight to cut out that friction. Right, I will cut off the tag end again by the knot, leaving maybe 0.5 millimeter or so. That's great. And now I will put a couple of number 8 studs on both this monofilament line. I would not use like more than 3, but I have found that 2 in most situations is the best number of shots. Number 8, I mean studs. for this rig. Again, this monofilament line is very thick, about 0.40. I am struggling to put those tiny little shots on, but you will get the idea. So, shots are on, and most of the time I spread them as well. I leave on maybe like from that loop, I leave it like 20 centimeters away, and another one maybe another 20 centimeters away. And now all I will do, I will grab that hook link, which should be made out of 0.20 fluorocarbon line. Again, this from AliExpress is really affordable and super great quality. I use it everywhere. If you are interested, I will leave a link below for this fluorocarbon which I use. Yeah, hook link length about 20 centimeters being the best for me. Hook number 10, Guru XS or extra strong Cobb, size 10 as I say. And then all I do, I attach my rig with my hook link, or attach my hook link to my rig using loop to loop. Nice and simple. Nice pull, and that's it. Now, when it comes to bait attachment, right, I'll grab that little band, which is kind of designed to be hooked onto the hook to create like a hair rig, if you like, but you don't have to tie something special like a hair rig. So, and also I have found that it's best to not use that little hole, which is provided just here, as you can see in that band, but to hook the band just like in between the hole and the band itself, then it stays on for longer. So that's our assembly. And now also it's important to pre-stretch those bands a little bit. Just grab it and pre-stretch them, and then you can put actually two mussels, two prawns in it, like without using any tools at all. Just for example, see, I will put this little Preston Innovations Stots tub in, and this is the deal you are looking for. Very big hook bait, which you will be using as a casting weight to get the super light rig, which has pretty much no shots and very light float at decent distance. Given that you are using thin braid, you can get this rig 20 meters. So yeah, very basic rig, which really is a killer rig for big chub in fast water. Really hundreds and hundreds of chub has been caught on this rig. But it's a little bit from me for today. I hope you'll find this video and this awesome rig useful. Try it out. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.